next, coming to the Nibandhamala. So, Adya Nibandhamalayaha kinchidiva parichayam prapnumaha. Okay. So, Nibandhamala is a booklet which is published by the Chittoor Sabha, which has 22 essays. It is already available under textbooks for the course. So, if you go to our course material, so the current course, the enhance your proficiency in grammar and composition. So there at the right at the beginning of the content, we have textbooks for the course. So here, so you have Nibandhamala, you have a typed version. I would recommend you to use the typed version. If you want, you can take a printout because we have corrected lots of typos. The scanned book is also there, but it has typos. So you can take a printout of the typed version. So there are 22 essays. So you can see the topics here. Samskrita Bhasha, Ahimsa Paramo Dharmaha, Vedanam Pramukhyam, Satyameva Jayate Nandritam, and so on. Okay. So there are many of them are like quotes. Some of them are topics. Okay. So there are 22. Out of these, they ask 4 in section 1 and 4 in section 2. You have to answer 2. Finally, you have to write 2 of these essays in Samskrita and 2 essays in whichever language you have selected for translation. Okay. As I mentioned, mostly they stick to these topics. It's very, very rare for them to ask anything other than these. There are 1 or 2 instances, even there with choices you can manage. इदानीं निबन्धलेखनविषये एव यदा चिन्तयामः तत्र अंशत्रयं भवति निबन्धानां लेखने. सो प्रथमः अंशः अस्ति विषयः कंटेंट, द्वितीयः अंशः संरचना और स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द एसे, तृतीयः अस्ति भाषा or the language. So there are 3 aspects to essay writing. When we look at it, generally any essay you write, even any answer you write, so essay need not be an essay itself. As we move on to level 4, etc., we will have longer answers. So whenever we are writing something, all these 3 are to be considered. They are all equally important. If we do not do justice to any of these, the effect of the essay will not be as we intend. So in an essay, what is the content? Right? So Vishayaha ityatra, first is the basic information about the topic. So Samskrita Bhasha, some information about the language. Stories or anecdotes, these help a lot in clarifying many things. Okay. So Ahimsa Paramo Dharma, we can give the instance, some story of any great person who is known for non-violence, or some anecdote. It can be anything. And quotes, Vishishya Samskrita Bhashayam Yada Kaschit Nibandha Likhyate, it is important and very good to include some sukti or subhashita. It can be one sentence or it can be a shloka. So first thing you do when you are preparing for any essay is to collect all this. So information, some points or brief outline on what can be written. Okay. Say Samskrita Bhasha itself is the topic. So you can gather some information. Samskrita Bhasha, what is the origin of the term Samskrita? How old is it? What is the content, the richness of content, the exactness of grammar, the wide vocabulary? So some 10 points which you feel you can elaborate on. Then you can quotes, if you want a subhashita, there are some popular ones. Say, Bharatasya pratishthe dve, Samskritam Samskritis-tatha. Samskritam nama daivi va karmakhyata maharshibhihi. There are many, many quotes. You can go online. These days, search is very easy. You can do that. And any story or anecdote you can think about Samskrita. It need not be directly as in about Samskrita. It can be some aspect of Samskrita. Some poet, say, who did something like Samasya Purti. It could be anything, depends on the this. So all this is the content part. So this either anecdote or quote is essential to make the topic lively. केवलं तत्र तस्य विषये एव लिख्यते चेत् ज्यामिता भवति. So you have to spice up the writing with some of these. So collecting these is the first step in writing an essay. The second step is structure or samrachana. So Nibandhaha ityukte. So there should be an introduction. Then you have the body and then the conclusion. Even in the body, you don't just randomly put together facts. So essay writing means there is a logical flow to what we are saying and proper paragraph breaks. An essay is not just starting and writing. Even if you write one full page, if there are no proper paragraph breaks, it is not considered an essay. These are all very minor points. I'm sure all of us studied this in school. For other languages, it is the same. Kintu manasi nidhatavyam bhavati yada vishishya nibandhalekhanasya vishaye chintyate. Tritiyaha amshaha, and the most critical part is the language of the essay. Okay. The most important thing here is error-free language. Okay. So that is where most of us, I am sure, we find difficulties. Katham tatra bhasha shuddhihi sampadyate iti chet abhyasena tu kaunteya iti yatha Krishna uktavan abhyasaha iti ekameva uttaram. So there is no other way. We have to keep practicing. But while practicing, it helps to learn the grammar behind it. The first step is, of course, vibhaktis. So the most common errors in writing happen in using the correct vibhakti. We randomly use any vibhakti anywhere. So please practice vibhaktis. Then the kriyapada should agree. If you are starting with saha, it should be prathama purusha. If you are starting with aham, it should be uttama purusha. Okay. So such agreement, the subject-verb agreement, those are the critical things. And the linga, Samskrite linga doshaha bahudha bhavanti. Evam, those are all not, you cannot teach them individually. Right? Katham bhavati iti chet pathaniyam yathashakti Samskrite likhitaha lekhaha nibandhaha punah punah pataniyaha. यथा इदानीं संस्कृतभारत्या विशिष्य अत्र महान् प्रयत्नः विहितः अस्ति भाषायाः एक्स्पोजर् वर्धयितुं सम्भाषणसन्देशः अस्ति. The सम्भाषणसन्देश is a beautiful resource. If for anybody who asks how to improve my language, it is written in simple standard Samskrita. It is available fully online. You don't have to go anywhere at all. So सम्भाषणसन्देशे लघु लघु लेखाः भवन्ति यत्र अवगमनम् अपि सुलभं भवति. तत्र पुनः पुनः पठनीयं. शुद्धा भाषा पठनीया, शुद्धा भाषा श्रोतव्या. You have to listen to Samskrita. तत्रापि अद्यत्वे क्लेशः नास्त्येव. बहुधा you get lots of lectures and materials in Samskrita. It does not matter what they are talking about. You have to keep listening. And both these things, the main thing is, especially when we start out, there is some block because you may not understand fully. You may not be able to read fluently or understand it. It is okay. You don't need to analyze it word by word. As long as you read a paragraph and get the gist of it, it is more than enough. Okay. So you can even try Sudharma, which is a daily paper. So they do have daily news. You will already know what the news is because you know generally. You are just reading it in Sanskrit. So Sanskritasya pathanam shravanam यथा यथा आधिक्येन क्रियते तथा तथा अस्माकं भाषा शुद्धिः वर्धते. It is not a visible thing. Okay, so you have to trust, have shraddha, and do that because that is the most effective way. Okay, we have to immerse ourselves in the language. For general languages, they say you go to, say, if you want to learn German, go to Germany and stay there for 2 weeks. With no other go, you will learn the language because it becomes inevitable. But for Samskrita, since it's difficult to get that, we have to put the conscious effort to read and listen to Shuddham Samskritam. Tadapi aham vadami. Samskritasya pathane. Especially there are many WhatsApp messages which circulate, which may give some news or something in Samskrita. Many of them have lots of errors. Okay, so please be wise to choose the correct source also. That is why very strongly recommended magazines are Sambhashana Sandesha and Sudharma. The editors of both these are expert grammarians. Okay, they do not allow language errors to creep in. We cannot judge whether this is right or wrong, but we can choose the source correctly so that we can rely on it. Please don't rely on any WhatsApp messages in Samskrita because most of them have errors. It is okay. I'm not discouraging them. It is fine for those who want to practice Samskrita. It is okay. But if we keep listening to a language with errors, the errors will seep in. If we listen to Shuddha Bhasha, the Shuddha Bhasha will seep in. That is natural. So, Tatra Bhasha Shuddhi Siddhyartham Shrotavyam Patitavyam पुनः लेखनीयं तदनन्तरं लेखनाभ्यासः करणीयः. And also that is the first level is to achieve, even if the bhasha is very simple, it should be correct. Once we get to correct language, how do we improve the beauty of the language? So the same thing, Ramaha Vanam Gatavan, or Ramo Mahadvipinam Jagama. Okay, it is the same thing, but by using sandhis, especially in writing, instead of keeping the words separate, if we do the sandhis, simple sandhis, it takes the language to the next level. Using samasas, so give a visheshana. So instead of just saying vanam, mahadvipinam, ghoraranyam, something, some simple samasa will make it. All these are tiny ways of improving the style of the language. So first is correctness of the language. The other is style of the language. As you observe Nibandhamala, you will see that they are not written in very plain style. So it is an embellished style of writing. How do we embellish our writing? Is by using this. Apply sandhis, apply samasas judiciously. It does not mean you simply do some random samasa and fill it. It should be correct and it should fit the context. Third one is, as we learn dhaaturoopas, use tingantas instead of kridantas. So instead of gatavan, to say agachat or jagama or agamat makes a huge difference to the shaili. Right? So that is why, see, one paper, the Chittoor syllabus is actually one of the best because of the thought that has gone into framing the syllabus. They have put one paper which has 4 components. You have Nibandha for the exam, that is the key one, which has 50 marks. But you cannot construct Nibandhas without the foundation of Sandhi, Samasa, Dhaturupa. So all those are also introduced, though directly The questions asked about Sandhi or Samasa or Dhatu-roopa are lesser, but the expectation is that we apply those to the writing of Nibandha. Tada eva Nibandhanam staraha samyak vardhate. Okay. So with these three components, Nibandha lekhanasya abhyasah asmabhihi katham karaniyah iti yada chintayamah. So first thing, tatra listen to the explanation of essays. So there are some people who are asking me to repeat how to access the essays. So please go to your student dashboard in Vyoma. As usual, whatever you do for accessing the contents of the current course, right? So you have to go there and click on this tile. So just click on that. So here there is a select subject. So there is a drop down here. So if you click on that, you will see Nibandhamala English. So if you just click on that, you will get all the essays. So it's hardly half an hour. You can even listen to it when you are doing something else, say walking around, walking or cooking, whatever. So first listen to the essays, then read the essays aloud repeatedly. Okay, punah punaha tasya pathanena, some phrases you will be able to recollect. Rewrite in your own words. Please do not reproduce, do not memorize the essays. That is not the point at all. तत्र वस्तुतः प्रथमस्तरेपि मया उच्यमानमासीत् या कथा दीयते तत्र यथा अस्ति तथैव न लेखनीयम्. एवमेव द्वितीयस्तरे अपि कथावल्लरी अस्ति चेत् you don't have to reproduce it. You have to learn to rewrite in your own words. You don't have to write only whatever is given there. It is a purely as a model essay. You can add additional material and to practice. So first you can practice in English or mother tongue where you don't have to worry much about language. You can put together the content, then try to put it in Samskrita. Okay, so this is very, very important practice. Do not memorize, do not write the essays as they are. It is not helpful either for this exam. If any evaluator sees exactly the same essay, I am sure they will not give full marks. Say if it is 15, for the effort they may give 7 or 8, but they will not give more than that. And even for your future exams, it will not help because you will not be able to write independently. The objective of the entire section is to encourage the learners to write in Samskrita independently. अतः लेखनाभ्यासः निश्चयेन करणीयः. श्रुत्वा पठित्वा तदाधारेण अस्माभिः अस्माकं वचनेषु निबन्धलेखनं करणीयम्. Okay. So as I said, you can try to include Sandhi-s, Samasas or Tingantas consciously without introducing errors. So the key balance is there. It is okay if the language is simple, if it is correct. If you are confident of simple language, how to take it to the next level is by applying these three. So we will also be doing composition exercises. So as I said, I will not teach these essays line by line, which is pointless because it's already there. She has taught it wonderfully with full detail. So tattu idanimeva asti asmabhihi abhyasah vakyarachanayaha abhyasartham asmabhihi prayatnah kriyate. Okay, we have covered Sandhi Samasas. We will do dhaaturoopas and some vakyarachana exercises. For the Nibandhas themselves, you have to practice writing it. Okay, kevalam shravanena na siddhyati. लिखित्वा अभ्यासः क्रियते चेत् सम्यक् लेखितुं शक्यते. Okay. So अग्रिमसप्ताहतः वयम् एवं निबन्धानां धातुरूपाणाम् अभ्यासं निबन्धानां न वाक्यरचनायाः धातुरूपाणां च अभ्यासं कुर्मः. There is a question, where can we find Sambhashana Sandesha. So I'm sure, the biggest answer for everything is Google. So you just put Sambhashana Sandesha, you will have it. They have a very beautiful interface now. So you can just log in. If you register for an account and subscribe, you can see all the archives. Okay, all the versions are there. You have search, you have specific categories. Okay, if you like some of the sections of the uh, book, you will be able to access those and so on. Okay, so category is also, there is lot of there. You can see there are stories, there are jokes, there are kathas, serials, and so many things. So it's a very beautiful interface. You just search for Sambhashana Sandesha, you will get it. Similarly, as I said, Sudharma is another Sanskrit daily newspaper. You can subscribe either for the physical edition, or you have some sample here. I don't think they have an online edition. As far as I know, they have a physical one, but you can, oh, e-paper. They have good. Sorry, I myself had not seen the e-paper of Sudharma, but since it is there, that's easier. So daily you have a paper where it will give the news and also some other, there will be a Subhashita, some other components. Okay. So both these are excellent sources for general Samskrita reading, not exam based reading. So there are some people who are asking for books. I just wanted to mention this one for Dhaturupa particularly. So Vyoma has published books called Dhaturupa Parichaya, which has 2 volumes. The first volume has 4 lakaras. Sorry. I'll share this link later in the WhatsApp group. So there are 2 volumes. The first volume has the 4 more common lakaras, lat, lang, lot, and lit, whereas the second volume has all the other 6 lakaras. So together, for about 108 common dhatus, all the 10 lakaras are covered. And the advantage of the book is it is arranged in the order of learning. So we already have databases like astadhyayi.com will have all the forms. But for each lakara, the order of learning, how does it make easy to learn, has been thought very carefully, and the book has been designed. So you can see here, Dhaturupa-Parichayaha 2. This is volume 2, which has the lakaras. There are some who are asking specifically for lit, lung, etc. So based on the pattern, this book has the pratyayas which I had showed for the 2 lakaras is given. You have various types, especially for lung lakara. There are multiple types. So it gives all the different types and it gives the forms. About 100 very common dhatus are covered in full detail. Okay. So if you want a resource, I think for learning dhaturupas especially, this volume 1 and 2 will be good resources. We will share the link in the WhatsApp group. Is audio available for Dhaturupa is a question. So far we have audio for part 1 only. For part 2 we don't have the audio. Okay. So we'll stop here. We will meet next week. Gururev gatir gurumev bhaje gurunaiva sahasmi namo gurave na guroh paramam shishurasmi guror matirasti gurau mama pahi guru.